Hey guys, what is up? My name is PandaMaster and welcome to my spoiler-free review of I Care a Lot. So this is a recent Golden Globe winning film because of Rosamund Pike's performance. And so first off, I'm just going to say right off the bat, 100% understand. Rosamund Pike, if y'all don't know who she is, I mean, her biggest claim to fame was her role in Gone Girl, but she's also done plenty of other really good stuff. She's a phenomenal actress, and she absolutely kills it. She is definitely the best part of this film, but there's a lot more good stuff to talk about it. So this movie came out back in September at TIFF, and then was released February 19th in the US, and so it was then, it got nominated for Golden Globes, and she won the award for Best Actress in Motion Picture Comedy or Musical. Because this is technically classified as a dark comedy thriller film, which, I mean, some people talked about how funny it was. I mean, there were some moments that were like it had some funny moments to it, but really the main times I found myself laughing was just as almost like an evil laugh, like when something gets pulled off and it's like, ooh, like they did them dirty, like that sort of like a just respect type of situation of just like pure like holy cow. And I mean, I understand somewhat that's kind of how dark comedy works, but yeah, for a supposedly comedic film, this is definitely not the natural. Like, it is definitely very heavy on the dark side of comedy, right? And not even in the terms of, it's not controversial. I mean, I guess there are some controversial elements, because this is basically a critique on capitalism. And so essentially, if you don't know what this movie is about, this is about a woman who is a con artist who essentially she convinces the legal system that these elderly people cannot take care of themselves, and then becomes their ward, and then takes all of their money. And so she's a con artist. So she is the protagonist of the film. And don't get me wrong, you will be rooting for her this entire film, but it is kind of an ethical dilemma, because when you see what she's doing to some of these people, it's like she's honestly kind of a terrible person. But she does explain herself, and I understand why she does the things that she does, but she's not even necessarily a good person herself. And I think the ending really speaks to that as well, which is an absolutely phenomenal ending. It's a really good third act. But I haven't really said my thoughts in general. Overall, 100%, go watch this film. This is one of the easiest films I could recommend out of all the films I've seen thus far this year, because it's available on Netflix. There have been a couple others that have been available on streaming services, most notably One Night in Miami, which I still heavily recommend. But everybody has Netflix, so go. And this is on Netflix, so go watch it. Go watch it. It's directed by Jay Blakeson, whom you might know as from The Disappearance of Alice Creed. Hasn't really done a ton. They directed The Fifth Wave, which we're not going to talk about that one, but definitely did a fantastic job here. I know overall reception was kind of, it was definitely positive, but not in the sense of, like most award-winning movies are, right? But I disagree with that assessment. I think this is an amazing movie. I think it's really good. And I wholeheartedly agree that Rosamund Pike is the best part of this film, because she gives an absolutely amazing performance. I think Rosamund Pike is one of, if not the best actress in Hollywood right now, and she's very underrated. She gives consistently amazing and jaw-dropping performances. So I definitely think she is the highlight of this film, but there's a lot of other really cool aspects as well. I think just the narrative pacing is really good. I have a hard time sitting through film. It's not that I can't sit through them all. It's mostly because of what I'm going through in my personal life and just other mental issues. is hard for me to devote 2 hours to something. I'm just very busy. And so a lot of times I'll kind of be like checking, like, okay, how much longer do we have? Even if I really like the movie, right? And, this movie just flew for me, right? And it's a 2 hour movie. It's actually really long because I went to go to the bathroom during it, and I paused it and I was like, there's still half an hour left? Oh my God. Like, because I felt like I was like, I got to be near the end. And but I was pausing it, not because I was, that I needed to know, but because I genuinely had to go for a second. And so, but yeah, this movie, and it was like, there's 30 minutes left. It was like there's still more. Like, there's, I'm really excited to see where this continues to go. And I don't think anyone's going to guess the ending. It's like I said, the ending's really, really good, but I don't think it's definitely not predictable. It is not predictable. Also, I'll say this, I won't go into details. I think I'd be fine, but again, trying to keep things spoiler free. This is a great movie for LGBTQIA+. Love it. So I don't, I wouldn't say this is like the LGBT movie, right? Like, I wouldn't say it like that, but also it handles it very well. And the fact that it doesn't really acknowledge it beyond the fact that it's just a thing. And that type of stuff goes a long way for me. And like, I say this as a straight person. And so, not that my opinion matters all that much, right? But I appreciate when film doesn't put an overemphasis on it, unless its purpose is to spotlight LGBT. But if like sometimes what I mean by this is, sometimes a lot of media will have like the token gay person or like the token couple, like gay couple or this or that. This movie doesn't do that. It has it in a very subtle way, but they're important characters to the film, and their relationship is not there to be a token, right? It's I appreciate what they did with it. So, for my LGBTQIA squad out there, y'all are gonna be happy with this. I think they do a really good job with it. Again, because of not like overemphasizing it in the way of like, hey, look, we have gay people. Of just like, yeah, they're gay. What of it? Like, I mean, I think they handle it very respectively, because I think that is an issue in Hollywood, where a lot of times I feel like the gay characters are tokens, and they're simply there just to say, look, we put a gay person in, don't give us shit. I mean, I think that's still a huge problem in Hollywood, and unless we have films that are specifically like LGBTQIA oriented, and that is like the main target audience, I feel like that's sort of the thing. Like, even like the big stuff, like I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but like, this huge conversation, like our first gay character, like, his character specifically in there, like, and the one I'm speaking of is the one in Endgame, right? His entire identity in that movie is basically to be the gay character, right? And it's like, as much as I love the MCU, they have a big diversity problem in terms of that. I mean, even before with black roles, but they've made loads of progress since then. But I hope we can get the same for LGBT representation. But anyway, long tangent aside, yes, this is a thing. And again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't think I would do anything if I said who. But whatever, you'll find out very soon. But also, Peter Dinklage is in this movie. I didn't know too much about this before going into it, but I knew Rosamund Pike was starring in it, and everyone was going nuts over her. But then I saw the Netflix thumbnail, and it was Peter Dinklage, and I was like, oh, Peter Dinklage is in this movie? I love Peter Dinklage. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. And, I've liked his work before Game of Thrones. Well, actually, he's that guy from the Marvel movies. Like, exactly. Anyway, okay, I'll shut up now. But, yeah, Peter Dinklage kills it as always. And so, yeah, I think this has a fantastic cast. One person I really want to give a shout out to is Aiza. I don't know no, it would be pronounced, because it's a Spanish name, so it would be because, okay, if it's Spanish, I took 6 years of Spanish, so that's why I'm really trying hard to get this pronunciation right. I mean, technically, I think it should be pronounced Aiza. Aiza? Because I'm pretty sure in Spanish you pronounce everything unless, you know, like certain things together, like SH or like similar to that. But Eiza. I'm going to say Aiza. Aiza Gonzalez. So she gives a really great performance here as Fran. You know, I think every prominent cast member in this movie does a really good job, and I think they really help give a good sense of atmosphere and tone, and just give some really good performances here. I like the cast. I like just how the film was shot in terms of, you know, what they were going for in direction. I think, you know, one of the key things from making a movie like good versus great is the combination of cast and direction. So, you know, you can have a really good cast, but if the direction's awful, it's just gonna flop. Similarly, if the direction's really good, but if you have a bad cast, I mean, I think that's better than the former, but it's still not going to be as strong. And so I think the combination is what makes a film truly great. And, you know, I think, again, Jay Blakeson absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark. I don't know what was, you know, maybe he had a drug problem with the Fifth Wave. I really don't know. But yeah, not great. I've never heard of The Disappearance of Alice Creed. Let me see what the critical... Okay, so that one was received really well. So yeah, I don't know what he was going through a rough time for the Fifth Wave. We'll just say that, you know. Everybody has their off days. He just had an off movie. But yeah, really, really great job here. I enjoyed this a lot. Again, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. I think it's an amazing film. If you like these like con artist movies about people pulling off just some nuts stuff, I think this is your type of thing. So I didn't even say the main drive of this movie, which is one of her clients is what's the word? I wanted to say integrated, which is could technically be used, but she's involved with the mafia, and so that's how this gets to be, you know, a relevant plot for film. And so yeah, this is an amazing film. Go watch it. Like I said, it's on Netflix. Very little commitment from you. If you're watching this, you most likely have Netflix. Go watch it. You will not regret it, especially if you're a fan of this sort of dark comedy genre. I think it's really, really good. Like I said, Rosamund Pike, definitely the star of the film, but I think there's a lot of other great things as well that come together to make it truly amazing. And so, yeah, one of my favorite films I've seen so far this year. Definitely highly recommend it. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. Like if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you guys next time for whatever it is I'm doing. All right, see ya.